All right, everyone. This next breakdown, I'm going to be sticking with the narration theme for now, is on one of my favorite fighters of all time, especially strikers, Buakaw Banchamek. He's the artist formerly known as Buakaw Por Pramuk, and that's really just a reference to his gym. He's one of the more famous Thai fighters of all time. He won 2 K1 Max tournaments, which is no elbows, no clinching really to speak of, at a lighter weight class. A monumental feat for a Thai boxer. So what I wanted to point out here was his boxing acumen. I think that's very symbiotic with a lot of his success. And pay attention to him slipping, ripping, his overall boxing ability, really. There's plenty of people in MMA that don't move around a ring like this, that don't slip as well, counter punch as well, punches straight, beautiful little elbow blocked from the midsection, popped into a jab, and see how he's got kind of a radar on the opponent's head the whole time as he's kind of shifting around. Beautiful, shuffled into a shovel 5 and then 2, and like something like this that's a very difficult overhand to throw a right overhand in the closed stance over a jab. That's not the easiest punch for anyone, really. And here's some more nice evasion, nice little sell right, fade left with the left hook there. So his evasion, and it's definitely a channeling of someone like Samart Payakaroon. I think all of this slipping and kind of going on feel and instinct more than anything to roll with these punches is certainly your boxing experience and or acumen. So he slips jab and frames for distance gauge and defense, right? And right off here, as soon as the opponent tries to retreat, very close, a near hit, as Carlin would say, into a powerful square-hipped left hook. And what I put here is square hips for power. This is something I talk about pretty frequently. Mike Tyson being one of the more famous examples of this, but whenever your hips are perpendicular to your opponents, then you lose power. The more parallel they are to whatever it is that is the target, the more power you're going to have in each hand. So here's some more evasion, more slipping and ripping for power there. Nice, beautiful. Spear knee in, out. Again, attacking the midsection, which he does very, very well and very often. So when fighting fellow orthodox fighters, he likes to kind of do the stiff arm frame like this, and it obstructs vision. It controls the distance. Obviously, it's a defensive mechanism, but it kind of auto tucks your chin too, and if you do it at the right angle, you can see what they can't. This is a beautiful slip and rip, and again, these aren't necessarily the norm in Thai boxing. Now, see how he's pairing with his right hand there? This is very Roy Jones pull counterish, what he used to do against Southpaws mostly. He's going to pull with that right hand and parry. Now watch that kind of like the arching 3 over the top into the 2. It was more like a push jab, really, but beautiful stuff. Great boxing, nevertheless. So nice mix of traditional Thai and Western boxing musings. He had the Thai power jab. He does some lean back evasion, countering low kicks, frame knees. I mean, you're going to see really a plethora of skill here against a very game opponent. See how fade off center line to both sides, a little shoulder bump there, a very Canelo style, and pops into the right hand. So while the boxing savvy isn't always so super obvious, the power is. And he literally chomps down his mouthpiece. There's an angry Buakaw clip, which we will get to later, and I tried to slow some of it down. This is a nice little collar tie into short power. Check this out. There's not much space to generate power there, and he sure did, and it sure was powerful. So this is just some more beautiful distance dominance, I would say, via jab flick into a long 2. Watch how the jab flick kind of brings out this totally ill-advised hairy attempt, and he looked like he was going to try to throw like some kind of right knee, and there he is chomping down again, and this guy's all but done, including that rat tail. Someone probably should have cut that off right after he fell down, if it were up to me. Protect yourself at all times knockout versus another legend in Andy Sauer here. I don't know what he was looking at the ref for, because nothing happened. And another example of the pendulum effect, of course. So here he is, jab right, and now he's coiled up with his left hand. Andy's head is completely off, looking at, I think, the ref. And again, you have square hips for power. So see how they run parallel with Andy, so that left and right would have had complete power on them there. And it was coiled because he had thrown the right before. So here's a drop step, and see how he's striking well, moving backwards. This isn't always the best for Thai boxers if they're not fleet of foot, but very good stuff. So he frames the jab, brings the guard in tight to obfuscate the vision. There's a 6. Now he creates distance there to throw that too, which is wonderful. So there's 6. Now he elbow frames here, and what he's gonna do is slip back and create his distance, right? Because Sauer's more of a boxer, whereas Buakaw is much more of a kicker. And now he did all of that with his eyes on the prize. So now here in perfect form and kind of out of Andy's range, really, Buakaw created his own, and he's more of a kicker, whereas Andy tends to be more of a puncher. So he always wanted to create space throughout this fight. Well, there were a few, but this one in particular. And Andy decided to counter there with an inside left leg kick from the closed stance, which kind of automatically brings out a 2 normally from people. The way he catches kicks into 3s especially is like no one else. What he'll do is pull back into his own left the leg to off balance right here. What that does is free up that left hand wonderfully. And from here, see this? It's like a momentum stopper and a momentum creator. You have to kind of like use the rhythm. So he hits one there. It wasn't exactly a knockout, but I don't think that guy was expecting the left front kick. A lot of people don't like teeps to the face being called teeps. And the left hook again for the knockout, obviously power and spades. So Muay Thai sweeps, stomps, throws, whatever you want to call them. They're unique to that sport pretty much, but they're very effective off the caught kick. And the mechanics are very similar to what in MMA I would call like a fulcrum sweep. You see from Frankie Edgar, recently from like a Zabit. There's that beautiful evasion into that. And that would be more of like a dump sweep right there. Again, he's doing it. And that usually when people use that as the nomenclature, it's when someone ends up on their head or close to it. So him being orthodox, I would say that Buakaw's best weapons are arguably his lead leg switch kick, although it's thrown a little different. It's more like a hop kick, and his right low leg kick, cut kick. And like anything, their efficacy comes from repetition. Watch and listen. Also watch the toes and his hips, the way they coincide together. Note the plant foot always coming up off the ground as well. That's going to help the swivel of your hips, ergo your power. I thought that was a good quote and applicable for Musashi, which is, you will fight the way that you practice. That's incredible. It really is like gunshots. Poor guy. Now, if you watch this again, this is another Andy Sauer example, but and this guy with the goofy hair, you're seeing how repetition pays off essentially. You know, if you don't practice something, sparring, whatever it may be, a technique, if you don't drill, if you don't get your muscle memory to do things effortlessly and with very little thought, they're really never going to be at the level of mastery in anything. So he tends to go head hunting. I kept that pretty simple. Art of 8 limbs. That's what Muay Thai translates to, I think, pretty accurately. That was a beautiful lean right, like he was corking up the right, and instead he threw a left kick, high kick over the top. Very TJ Dillashaw. And this one is a little more straightforward. Often you'll notice, and it's terrifyingly accurate, how he'll kick like over a glove or over a guard of the opponent. Like right there, there wasn't much space to kind of squeeze that in, and the first one was the same as well. So among fans, and super fans especially, the following has been known as Angry Buakaw for years. The ferocity he showed finishing this fight, you got to kind of watch it for yourself. Just do a YouTube search and see it, and you'll kind of see what led up to it. But watch, I put indiscriminate legs. Watch how he just starts alternating between the two. I mean, it doesn't even matter where he's going to end up landing. So here he is, left kick to left, right to right, or right to left rather, and then kind of like almost like a kick in the butt on the way out. So onto his teeps. I think like anything else, and when they're to the face again, some people get, purists get a little upset because they want, there's a beautifully timed one that knocked him down. They want teeps to be more to the midsection. But he's one of the most versatile strikers. Period. He's dominant with teeps and jabs and distance control. That's always been his thing. Look at this little circling jab, very MMA friendly footwork, almost the way he's moving to his left, and then he totally hid this right kick. Watch this. So as he's circling, there it is, freeze frame, Now he doesn't see anything, the opponent, obviously, and his right knee is chambered almost at his face, and it's right of center line, right up, heel to face. Just wonderful, wonderful striking. Very disciplined. So if they get past the distance striking in actual Thai boxing, rather than say K1 or Glory, he'll use wonderful like trap elbows from all angles and knees in fighting, all those things. Obviously most Thais do this very well. He's no exception, of course. Buakaw's one of the best of all time. Here's someone getting a little close. Look at that unbelievable frame to an elbow. This guy's already kind of out on his feet, but short power in spades here with the short frame elbow. Look at that. See how he just kind of turned over like a flick? And it's important to notice the motion, how his shoulder follows through, and your hand is always kind of relaxed inside the glove when you throw elbows for speed and for power. You don't want anything kind of serving as resistance. So there, that looked like some distance he had there. Tried a crazy spinning back fist, and that was met by a little lean back and momentum into momentum. An elbow to the face after that is not what you want to get hit with. These are some of the variant knee strikes. This is the same guy that was in the angry fight, but these drop pivot clinch knees, and he does elbows with this too, are just wonderful because you're off balancing the opponent to then open up a lane for a strike. This here is a beautiful leaping knee. Again, he's bringing him back, and you see how he kind of kicks out his right leg beforehand. Beautiful stuff. That's what they'll do on the heavy bag as well, often in Thailand. And on that note about Thailand, just speaking of the plum or the clinch or whatever you want to call it, the Thai plum, most people call it something like that. It's very akin to Western grappling, but standing. What you want to notice is the way he's using his head as a wedge there, kind of like you would in say in a passing situation in Jiu-Jitsu. But you'll see things like these alternating spear knees that he does, where he's lifting up this one as a fake. He's going to bring in the guard forward and toward the navel, kind of leaving the opponent weak at the glove, meaning that now that he's overextended past the gloves with his hands, he can peel away. It's not like a Dutch hand trap, it's more peeling in a literal sense, and then he's going to thrust the knee strike. So the arms moving backward propel the knee forward. It's really no different than kicking, to be honest, but one pulled back leads into another one going forward. So this is wonderful framing, seeing his distance, and right as this gentleman comes in, he is met with a vicious knee, kind of one of those diagonal knees right to the side. So while in Thailand it wouldn't necessarily be considered like the top dog in clinch work, or he wouldn't rather, anywhere else in the world he's completely atop the game as far as, you know, clinch work, elbows, knees, etc. The things that you really can't do in K1 and or Glory. Beautiful. And I put underutilized shoves into high 10. I love the pushing technique to get someone off balance to then throw something vicious as a head kick would be, you know. From here on out, I'm pretty much just going to be sort of riffing. So he's channeling his inner senchai here, and you'll see what I'm saying in a second. Shuffling forward, this is mullet rocking. Buakaw, there's the senchai shuffle right there. Obviously an influence of his, and I think he's on record saying that, although, you know, neither of them really speak English. Beautiful on the attack here. Look at that. Oh, that's the OG Dutchie, and there's a reverse Dutchie. This is going back quite a bit. You really can tell by the bad haircut, but it's still Buakaw the destroyer, no doubt. And here's gloves to manipulate gloves, opening a path to the already damaged body. See where I kind of put the arrows there by bringing his gloves up. Now he knows to cork it, and he changes level just a little bit and throws that right cross. Someone just asked me about that recently. That's what I mean by when you throw your right cross to the midsection, how you don't want to change levels entirely. So variance of assault is astounding, obviously. Strikes are long and short from every angle, from every range. And see how he's going from like linear to round strikes and then alternating like which side. It's just so unpredictable when he gets in that offensive kind of flow state like this. And really, how are you going to defend this when there's not something like a takedown involved? So here you see vision obstructed. The knee up is to block, obviously. Now both used to throw a knee strike to then pull off balance and make this kick right here heavy. So by pulling back on that, that's what gets the person to kind of plant. And on a planted leg, a leg kick's going to hurt 10 times worse. little shuffle step into a leap, like a leaping or lunging left hook, and here's just a blitzkrieg of an attack. Kind of feinted, grabbing the leg there, which is beautiful. Now this is what I meant by the drop pivot into the elbow strike. This is a pretty good angle on it as well. Here he has him, and as right after he spins him, that opens up with his right arm, that right elbow off of the kind of like inner hook that he has. And another OG Dutch. You see how he does a little different where he doesn't slap it as much. And here, this is important, this part about the knee leading the target. Whenever you're kicking, you want your knee to be past the target before you snap the kick out. That is so important in the kicking game, and something I see people get wrong so much. Between that and being on the ball of your feet, you know. Form's completely on point here, obviously. And I just put some arrows. You know, these are all prior mentioned concepts, but nice little quick sit 3 off of the kick. So as soon as that came back to plant, he was there to throw a 3 off the momentum. Beautiful stuff. And I thank all of you for watching. Buakaw is a absolute legend in the sport, and I'm going to keep doing these voiceovers for now, and I hope you dig them. Thanks for watching, everyone, and enjoy watching Buakaw versus the banana tree. Cheers.
โหดเกิน